What's up, all you nerds and turds? Welcome to Dual Screens Crossplay Podcast. I am a returning host for the interim. This is Stephen Fontana, and with me, as always, he's my other half. He's the other half of the Dual Screens. He's Andy Asimakis. How you doing, buddy?
I guess I'm the other returning host.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Well, you've hosted with
both
Taylor.
Sure.
I think more than I have since he took over.
Maybe.
I think.
Yes. I have. I don't know anymore.
Right.
Maybe it's like a split. Either way, we both share the load.
Right. I like to think of you as Andy Richter, except you're more of a dick, so you're Andy Dichter. That's what I like to think of you as. You're not.
I will allow this.
Yeah, you're not Andy Dick.
Characterization of me.
You're not Andy Dick, because that would we would not be friends. But
no, it's way too much.
That's
for me.
too much on the other side. But you are Andy Dichter.
God, that is such. I'm a quick aside.
Okay. Yeah, I thought we were already aside. So we're going aside from the aside. So we're basically going into oncoming traffic. Got it. Go ahead.
Quick aside, quick work story. There was a guy that I was speaking to in a gaggle of people in a meeting today over Zoom.
Okay.
He did not say a word. He was quiet the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Totally just like he was mute in the corner, just smiling and gesturing at certain points. Clearly didn't want to chip in or contribute at all in the convo. But I was like, wow, this guy's actually really good looking. I'm getting a little flustered.
Oh,
wow,
okay.
This is actually pretty intense. So, and I had a walkthrough of their space to assess where to put shit for their party in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And this girl was like, so-and-so can meet you on so-and-so floor to do the walkthrough. I'm like,
a lot of so-and-sos. Okay.
It's me and the hot guy going the walkthrough. So we met, and then when we met, it was the most flamboyant, stereotypical cliche voice from a gay man you could imagine.
Right, sure.
And I was like, oh my God, I am just instantly repulsed.
Oh, not your type. Not your type.
It was
handsome. No, yeah, but not your type.
It was
Got it.
My dick just fell off, kind of
it fell right off. This is a great show.
Kryptonite.
This is a great show. We are definitely driving into oncoming traffic right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dual Screens Crossplay Podcast, the internet's #1 gaming news podcast hosted by people you've never heard of, but you're gonna hear of us. It's happening, Andy. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we had our first ever showcase, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, we want to say you could follow this show. You could find this show on your favorite podcast service of choice each and every week, or you can watch it live on twitch.tv/dualscreenstreams, or you can watch it later as a video on demand on youtube.com/dualscreens.tv. You know what else you can watch on youtube.com/dualscreens.tv? Our first ever another indie game showcase presented by Dual Screens. 1 hour of indie games. We had world premieres, interplanetary premieres. We had release dates, we had release windows, we had brand new trailers, brand new gameplay, brand new so much stuff, and we couldn't have done it without all of your support, especially our Patreon producers, Colton the Apprentice Nestler and FNH Paul. And if you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/dualscreens. Andy, we did a showcase.
Oh my God, Steven.
Yes.
The whole time I had my heart in my throat when that thing was counting down.
Yeah.
I can't describe to you what I was, because I'm not an anxious or a nervous person at all.
I am.
And, it's either, that's what I have you for. That's the you thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's you can do that, and I could be the calm, sane, rational one, which is, disaster, by the way.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to get the link up, so I apologize, listeners, if you heard some music there in the background for a second.
So disaster, but I felt anxious.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's done. We did it. I watched it a bunch of times. I was like, okay, tweak this, fix this, add this, and you were doing your magic for 2 weeks to get it just right. Mm-hmm. And she was perfect. And no matter how much stress this caused us to get done, I'm really eager to do it again. You have no idea.
Mm.
Because you've learned a lot and it's going to be better.
Yeah.
And also, Steve, we did like a Steam thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a Steam thing going on right now.
We do have a Steam thing. Ladies and gentlemen, go to dualscreens.com/showcase to take your computer browser over to the Steam, our Steam event. We have a Steam event. That's the word we were looking for. Yeah, all the games that were on the showcase, plus games of former guests, future guests that we already recorded or are going to be on the show, guests that wanted to be part of the showcase but didn't have anything new to show. We curated this list and we put it up there for you guys to maybe find some games that you didn't know that you wanted. And I gotta say, Andy, a lot of people, like friends of ours and whatnot, and people that we're hearing from through Twitter, a lot of people are wishlisting a lot of games.
That makes me happy.
And downloading demos as well, because a lot of games did have a demo as well from our that went live. So
and we're getting a
really
lot
awesome.
of like, hey, I came across your podcast on Steam or on a random thing. I was like, hell yeah, you did. DM me, kind sir, about how to be on the show. I love that.
Yes. Yes. And that's
and
what
I'm getting so many followers on Steam, by the way.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's kind of one of the little hidden surprises for us is we've been working really hard building the Dual Screens brand as, you know, the indie place to be, interviewing so many guests and all that stuff. It really, hopefully more people now realize what we've been doing, because cracking that ceiling, I don't want to say glass ceiling because it's not like the man is holding us down, but like cracking that ceiling of that barrier to entry in the very crowded podcast space has been a struggle for us. And hopefully this will get a few more people interested in hearing the stories of the developers that we've been interviewing over the last 4 years.
Yeah, man. I feel like, you know, we hear so much about what it takes to get to this point, and then showing off the games themselves. Yeah. You know, it's a lot to ask for from people. Like,
it is.
Hey, can you pump out a piece of marketing for little old us?
Yeah.
Because, you know, in all honesty, like between seeing the things in today's news bits between ID Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, there are some names in there that are on our list of former guests.
Yeah.
That either went like totally quiet or just like, hey, we're not ready to show things yet. But I know why. Yeah. You don't want to blow that load on like little old us, because, you know, we're not going to get
We get it.
Totally get it.
We get it. Yeah. All right. Let's get into the show. We have a huge, massive show.
A lot
to go. Like so much happened this week besides our little humble showcase. Yeah. But before we get into the news and what's coming out this week, let's go talk about our adventures in gaming. Andy, I started playing Coromon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That game, that former guest of the show.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
And, you know, those are the games you love.
So
you were hooked on Monster Crown for a bit when that came out.
Yeah. Well, I played, it was actually before it came out.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm wondering why it took you this long to get into this.
Okay. Well,
is my initial question.
Here's why. I just didn't have the time to really get into learning a whole new, like, I don't want to say system because a lot of games have systems, but like Pokemon takes a lot to get into. And once you start playing Pokemon, it kind of becomes your life. Trying to hunt perfect, you know, creatures and breed and all this stuff. So, and I had plenty of Pokemon. I had Arceus. I had that, you know, and I played that, and then I kind of got burnt out on it. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking for something charming to play. And I decide, you know what? Coromon's been sitting here for months. Let me finally give it, because I played it back when it was in beta, right? And I loved what I played. I got back into it, and so much has changed on this game since the last time I played. But one of the things for those of you who don't know, it's a monster taming game, not unlike Pokemon. I mean, that's just going to draw your obvious comparisons when you look at the game. There's 114 monsters for you to go out and collect and all that stuff. But one of the cool things that it does is there's actually 2 experience meters. And I totally forgot this was a thing. Where you have your normal experience meter where you get normal level ups, like, oh, you get +1 strength, +1 speed, whatever it is for that Coromon. But then you have another experience bar that goes up a little slower. And every time you get that, you get 3 points to put in any stat you want. So you could really customize how your team is going to be. If you say, all right, this guy has high defense, but he's got kind of medium special defense, which is against special attacks. Every time I level up, I'm going to pump 3 more points into special defense. So he's just going to be my tank. And it gives you, a lot more. Yeah, and it gives you a lot more options as far as building your actually owning those characters, actually owning those. They feel more like a party and less than just your weapons. Like it feels in Pokemon, it just feels like your weapons for a battle. In this, they feel like your Barrett, your Tifa. They feel like they have roles to play, and it's a lot of fun. And one of the other things that I thought was really cool that I completely forgot about is there are conditions that you can meet to level Koromon up as opposed to just hitting a level. So you can, for example, one Koromon levels up if you use like a certain move, I think 5 times in one battle. So, but you're not going to know that unless you like look on the internet, but like it might just happen. You might just be like, oh shit, all of a sudden this Koromon's, getting more powerful and it evolves in front of your eyes, which is really cool. And it's fun to see like the different conditions that you can have for these Koromon to kind of level up. But yeah, I'm if you're looking for something to get like, and this is like my main reason why I wanted to talk about this game. If you're looking for something to get you from now until Pokemon on November 18th, this is the perfect game to fill that void because it's just different enough, but similar enough where you're going to feel like you're playing like a Pokemon adjacent universe. Yeah, and I've been having a lot of fun with it.
All right, I gotta play it now, I guess.
It's fun, man. It really is. It's not boring. Like I was like a lot of these monster tamers are so they try to do something different, but they almost do something too different where it becomes convoluted and watered down, and it's not like a polished product. Like that. One of the things that I disliked about Monster Crown was it leaned so heavily in the contract sort of deal with the monsters to like have them agree to be a part of you that it almost became a distraction to what you want to do, which is go out, find something cool, make it part of your party, and then start breeding them. Because like that was the big thing about Monster Crown. It's like almost a near endless combination of monsters could come together and make a new monster. So yeah, I mean but that was like the one thing about Monster Crown was like I didn't feel connected to the monsters because they felt like they were loaned to me or like they were it felt like Koromon were like the sword +1 and then you get another one it's like the sword +2 and then it's like the silver sword +1. Like that's what it felt like. It didn't feel like they were special when you got them unless you got one of the shiny ones.
Right.
But in Koromon, because you're physically like building what they're good at and what they're where they're weak, you can make a balance. It's so much fun to just kind of play with how your party's gonna be utilized so to fit your play style in a way. What have you been playing?
So I've slinked back into my I'm gonna play a bunch of PS1 games mode.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Lately. No, don't be sorry. That's one of the best modes I have. I actually went back and I played from the beginning to the end over the course of I want to say 2 days. Mega Man Legends again.
That's a good game.
Because I love that game so much. I actually did something in that game where I did not do my first couple runarounds and playthroughs. Was get evil Mega Man, which I wasn't aware was the thing you can do in that game.
Evil.
So so here's how it goes. So late in the game, there's a side quest, totally optional, that you get by just watching a newscast on the TV in your airship.
Okay.
It's kind of a neat idea. Like it's not obvious. You have to actually be in a certain spot in the town to trigger the event from the TV. If you watch TV anywhere else, you won't activate it.
Okay.
So it's really strange how it all works out. So you have to watch this newscast and say, hey, there's a bank robbery in like the downtown district. So you go there, and it's a cop car chasing this red car all throughout the town. You have to chase it on foot and shoot it down.
Oh no.
Yeah. So if you shoot it down, this like case full of money pops out of it. And if you take the case of money and you keep it,
Greed.
you become evil Mega Man.
Yeah.
You become like a really dark shade of blue.
Oh. No.
And from that point, people treat you differently and they charge you more like for items in the shop.
So the money you get get like offsets by the fact that everything costs more.
So either you can give it back and you get 20,000 zenny, which is the game's currency.
You love zenny.
Thank you. Yeah. Or you can get 200,000 zenny.
Oh shit.
If you pocket it. And I was like,
wow.
I just gotta see how this plays out. And I was evil for a bit and I loved it. But I miss that franchise. The heartache of Legends 3 still looms.
It does.
Heavy in my heart. What a tragedy. But I'll play some actual current games soon, I hope.
I have a ton on my list, and Cormon was the first video game I played in 12 days. I didn't play a single video game 12 days leading up to it.
Yeah, because you were editing, the whole time.
Every night, I sat down at my computer, I put on the ball game or Frasier, and I put my headphones in, and I edited. And like, we're going to do a deep dive on putting the showcase together as a bonus episode on Patreon, so I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say I had to learn so much that I had no idea I didn't know about certain aspects of editing, or things that I didn't know how to do in Adobe Premiere that I did know how to do over a decade ago on my Mac, that I just could not. I was like looking for like anyway, we'll get into it over there. But the next thing I want to get into real quick are the releases from this week. This is coming from Game Informer. They have new releases coming out this week. This is where I'm getting this from. Little Orpheus came out yesterday. That came out on PS5, Series X and S, PS4, PS1. I'm sorry, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Easy for me to say.
PS1 game. Wow.
Scourgebringer. Scourgebringer came to iOS and Android also on the 13th. Various Daylife. That classic.
What a name.
Various Daylife came out on Switch and PC on the 13th. 13 came out on Switch.
Oh, the really bad remake of 13?
I guess.
Yo, side note, someone remade the remake and it's way better.
Yeah, I think this is
actually
this is
modded the shitty remake of it.
Yeah, this is the remake.
I gotta find that link.
I mean, that'd be nice. We got Judgment came to PC today on the 14th. Lost Judgment came out today on the PC as well. You Suck at Parking came out today on Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One. I keep saying PS1, Xbox One, and PC. Tomorrow we got Bear and Breakfast coming to Switch. We have Metal Hellsinger coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC coming out the 15th. Outer Wilds coming to next gen or current gen consoles, PS5, Xbox X and S. That is coming tomorrow as well on the 15th. Splitgate is getting its console release and update thing, I guess, coming to PS5, Xbox X/S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. That's interesting that it's on this list. I thought it was already out for PS4 and Xbox One. But I digress.
Yeah, I guess he just bypassed it entirely.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I totally did not know that. But okay. Wayward.
I remember the big announcements were like, oh, it's next gen. I was like, okay.
Yeah. 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 Unless it's also like their official release, you know? Oh, that's what yes, that is what it was. Because a couple of months ago or whatever, a couple of weeks ago or several weeks ago, they mentioned that they finally are having their release, and it's September 15th. I do remember that now. Yeah. Okay. Wayward Strand also on the 15th. That's coming to PS5, Series X, S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And Various Daylife making another appearance coming the 16th to PS4. Gotta love that various day life.
Fantastic. With various release dates, apparently.
And a big one here, biggest one of the week, but not my pick of the week. Biggest one of the week, Return to Monkey Island. Switch and PC, September 17th.
Yo, that is the biggest one of the week.
My pick of the week is Bear and Breakfast, coming to Switch. That's my pick.
All right, fine. I'll give it to you.
That's my pick.
I'll give it to you.
But Metal Hellsinger has a 9 on Game Informer.
I've heard really good things about that. Like a Metal Rhythm game, shooting game, does not deserve to be that good.
Yeah,
those things shouldn't mesh. So
that's a missed enough game.
In that game. Yeah,
missed enough game. Metal Hellsinger, and it's on Game Pass. So congratulations. All right, let's get into the Dual Screens report. We went over another indie game showcase in the beginning of the show, but we did not talk about what we actually revealed or whatever. So why don't we talk about that a little bit? I know it's indie games, but a lot of those games, quite a few of them were coming to consoles, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, and Switch. What were your top 3, Andy?
Oh man, that's such a hard question. You know what? I was actually debating to do like
I have an idea.
Twitter.
I have an idea. Instead of picking our top 3, let's just pick 3 each for people to just go and look up right now.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I want to say the Beauty Cult's Nectarmancer, which was our intergalactic
premiere. Yep.
Yep. I don't know, man. That trailer just made me want to cry a little bit.
Yeah.
It was the thing with the music and the direction and the really like gorgeous pixel art but like that 3D pixel art kind of going on.
Yeah.
Just how it looked, and then with that really short snippet of gameplay at the end.
A lot of particles.
Yeah, I was like, that was really nice. That was definitely one that really like caught my attention.
I'm gonna. Can we alternate?
You go.
I think the more I see this game, the more excited I get for it, and I'm so happy that we got to show this to people who had no idea it existed. Former guest of the show, Trickshot.
Oh boy, yes.
God, I love Trickshot.
Yeah, man.
Trickshot, I think Trickshot is going to be really big. I think this is going to be like bigger than any of those like dodgeball, whatever games that can't, you know what I mean? Like, I think this is going to be a competitive and very popular amongst streamers and Twitch and TikTok and all that stuff, because you're going to be able to do really cool stuff in this game. Trickshot, if you guys don't know, that's Tony Hawk Pro Skater Shooter, basically, where you're trying to get points to win. It's not about kills, but you get points with kills and also doing tricks on your vehicle of choice, what is it? Skateboards and rollerblades and whatnot. So definitely check that out. What do you got, Andy?
The Night is Gray.
That got a lot of love. Like, a lot of people were really excited about The Night is Gray.
I think because it's like spooky. It's like a classic point and click adventure game. It's this guy and this little girl he finds, and they're just trying to survive the night together.
Yeah.
And it has some of the most beautifully hand-drawn artwork I've ever seen in an adventure game. It just looks really, really well put together. And it's a shame that they get a good following, that team.
Yeah, they do.
But it's still it's very small. I'm like, how does a game that looks this good have such a small following? Is what I say about our stuff all the time. But
Story of Dual Screens
looks really, really well made. Yeah. And that's coming out this year at some point. So that's great.
For me, the next one I want to talk about is a game that literally, like, people were absolutely blown away that it was even part of our showcase. Like, they were like, what is this? The quality on this is unbelievable. And that's 9 Years of Shadows.
Holy shit.
Like, that had a fully animated anime, like, crazy intro. beautiful, I guess an action RPG sort of Metroid-ish. I think that was the one. Yeah. Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, I think it's like a side-scrolling Metroidvania,
Yeah.
like Sailor Moon meets fucking Castlevania.
It was insane. Like the shit going on the screen was like mind blowing. I'm watching it right now from our showcase.
I was getting
there's a teddy bear and shit.
I was getting
like it has Mega Man vibes too with the boss fights. Like you go into like the chamber and you go one-on-one. Like it looks fucking dope, dude.
Yeah, I was getting Facebook messages from people saying like, "Holy shit, this 9 Years of Shadow game looks incredible."
Yeah, and you like you have different. You kind of like shapeshift into different animals to like do different to get through different obstacles. So I guess that's like the Vania port or the Metroid part of it.
So funny story. So in case you want to know how this game ended up in our showcase,
I do.
Former guest of the show, Dave of Reclamation Games, developer of Rena and Jericho,
awesome,
is helping out with 9 Years of Shadow. And he was like, "Hey, I'm working on this game. I think we can get them involved in your showcase."
That's awesome.
Plus, their publisher also reached out like separately.
Oh, that's awesome
gave
too.
Gave us like 4 games also to throw in the showcase. Like Lunar Lux was also there.
Yeah.
And I forget what other games were theirs, but yeah, Freedom Games. Huge.
We love Freedom Games. Yeah, Freedom Games.
Koromon too, by the way.
Yep.
That's their publisher.
Yep.
So, all world.
There is another game that's really just up my alley that like really spoke to me. And that's Spiritfall.
Spiritfall. Yeah, that's
Spiritfall looks really cool. It's a 2D action RPG with really cool combos. Just dope ass game. Before we get to your last game, we're gonna read a couple of the chat here. Miss Envy also picked Trick Shot. She also picked Ova Magica, which is big on my list, but I think there's a lot of people know about that one. I'm Not Jelly looks adorable. Check that one out. Also,
whoa, that game was so cute.
Yeah, that game was like, what the hell is happening in this trailer right now? Oh my god, that's adorable. Heading Out looked great.
Yeah, man.
That was from Buzz Killington, and Buzz Killington also picked Paperclay.
Paperclay from our good buddy Kevin Anderson.
Why Kev? Why Kev? All right, what's your last game you want to tell people about from the showcase?
So listen, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Not cheat, but you said teddy bear.
I did.
And I'm gonna honorably mention Brave Eduardo just because I have to, because that game looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
The effort going to that game between the orchestra and like one guy, John Wang, doing all the art.
Yeah. Incredibly talented group of people over there.
So shout out to them. That's my mention of honorably. But my actual last pick, because I have to pick a horror game, a true horror game.
Oh boy.
Was our opening game.
Yes.
Negative Atmosphere.
I have a question. Wasn't that game third person?
Oh, it is still third person.
Okay.
But there's some sequences like that.
Got it. That's what I figured.
Like first person.
I figured there was like parts or like that were like quasi cinematic parts where you have to like go on almost like on a rail kind of, which is what that looked like. That looked like, all right, you have one way to go. It's forward. Yeah.
Think of it like in Metal Gear Solid when you go into the elevator and that first person view kind of pops up for a hot second, where you're like when you're going through a vent.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I think moments have like that first person view just to like amp the tension.
That's cool.
Plus, you got a nice behind the scenes look at how they did the audio for that game. Also on our YouTube channel.
That's on our YouTube. So that was sent to us with the trailer. If you watch our showcase, a little behind the scenes, from when the creature jumps at the screen to when the logo cuts, I had to cut like 6 minutes of that video out because it was all like how they did audio or the video, and how they do audio for the game. And I was like, well, this has got to be its own video. So, Yeah, check that out on our YouTube, youtube.com/dualscreenstv. But we weren't the only showcase, Andy.
On the same note, for one
more
last note on that.
One more last note. Okay.
Because I gotta say it. You mentioned Heading Out before by Buzz. Yes. Heading Out also gave us a 20-minute behind the scenes video also on our YouTube channel.
Yes, that is also on our YouTube channel. So if you want to know how that one's being made, which actually I watched the whole thing, that is fucking bananas. Like how they create. You have to check it out. Go to dualscreens.com/. Well, you could go to dualscreens.com as well because Andy's putting up all these videos up there as well. But youtube.com/dualscreens.tv and look at our Heading Out behind the scenes trailer. It's ridiculous. Missed Enough says Nectarmancer and Hell is Others were his games of choice.
Hell is Others.
Hell is Others looks fucking so good. Former guest of the show. Go check that show out. Really quickly before we get into all of the other showcases and directs and whatever the hell's happened this week, we have some news to go over. Deathloop pre-orders have gone up on Xbox, which effectively doubled their first-party output for 2022. So,
hey, good for her.
Congratulations.
Good for her. Good for her. That. She did it.
So, congratulations on that. On doing that. There it is. It was taken down. So we have old news, Andy. We have old news. Okay. It was taken down for pre-order. So they're not quite ready to.
It was old news. Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. They are not. According to Buzz, they took it down. Buzz Killington, our resident news guru, or Xbox news guru, who's in our chat. He's expecting a TGS announcement. That obviously that makes a ton of sense because that's happening while we're all in Dreamland. Wow. So that's probably what happened. It just went up early.
Yeah, you got to save your big announcements for a Tokyo Game Show, and announcing Deathloop coming to your systems is huge,
massive. But whatever. Listen, we make fun, but they're doing some shit. So let them do their thing.
They're doing shit.
Hey, remember Babylon? That Babylon game, that Babylon, whatever the fuck it was called, Babylon's Fall.
This is like Babylon's Fall
from Square Enix, and it has fallen. It's dead. It's gone. They're shutting it down.
Quite literally fallen.
Yeah.
This is it's a good lesson in staying in your lane. No one ever asked Platinum Games to give us a games of service.
Less than a year, dude.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But then again, I think listen, Platinum Games, they make great games and they make bad games.
Yes.
They
do.
They're consistent with their inconsistency.
Yes.
As
they alternate.
One good, one bad. One good, one bad.
They're like, we're gonna have we're gonna have the ABC team on the good game, and we're gonna have the Q team on the bad game. Everybody else is support. I don't know what's going on over there, but whatever.
I'm gonna tinfoil this really quickly.
Please do.
Before you move on to the next part of this discussion. I think Platinum is trying to get themselves bought by Microsoft.
So like they put up a goose egg so that it lowers the value. Like
I think they did a shitty game to be like, someone come save us, because they were talking about, we would love to do. What was that canceled Platinum Games for Microsoft with the dragons?
Fuck.
I know it.
Buzz will tell us in the chat. Why is it? It's right on the tip of my tongue. It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Scalebound.
Thank you, Buzz. Yes. See, our resident Xbox guy. What would we do without him? Free Buzz Killington. So everybody tweet at It's Purger and say free Buzz Killington.
We were like, we would totally do Scalebound if Microsoft approached us, or I don't know if they bought us or whatever the fuck. So I think they're like, let's do a shitty game. So Square's done with us.
That is some
we're done with
tinfoil hat, sir.
And it's like, please save us, Papa Phil. So, but seriously, this is again, this is one they should not be doing this.
I have a different tinfoil hat. I have a different one.
God.
I think they wanted nothing to do with the games of service and were forced to do it. and we're like, if we're gonna do a games of service,
yeah.
we are gonna shit on the bed. We're gonna shit in Square Enix.
So they Spider-Man 3 this shit.
Yeah. And they were just like,
3
don't you ever make us make a shitty game like this again. We're gonna poop all over it. Here you go. It's broken.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well,
you know, it reminds you of like Bleeding Edge. Bleeding Edge is like, no one asked
Bleeding Edge, man,
them to do a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Bleeding Edge came out over 2 years ago. It costs $8 now on Steam, dude. $8.
Yeah, Bleeding Edge was cool when it came out, but it was too shallow.
No, it wasn't cool when it came out.
It was cool. It was like a cool idea, but it was like, okay, now it's boring. Now, now I'm bored.
But it wasn't. You can't sustain it. Like, it looks cool at a passing glance. Like,
what was the Twisted Metal guy's game? Drawn to Death? Was that him?
Yeah, that shit too. Like,
was that the one?
For a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It had a concept that was like, oh, this could be fun for like competitive shit, and then it was like, nah, we're good, fam.
Right.
Speaking of it could be good, the last bit of news before we get into the showcase recaps, Forspoken, instead of showing anything on the state of play, we just got a PS blog about the combat and how fast the combat is, and all of my reservations about how this game is going to play have been kind of put to rest. I think this game is going to play great. If you haven't checked out that PS blog post, go there, take a look at it. This game is slowly regaining my trust.
I think it was really smart of them to do a blog, because I think a lot of hands-on time is happening right now with select YouTubers and publishing and journalist folks. And the main gripe of every past trailer is she's annoying, the narrative is cringy, she talks too much, the cuff is annoying, it talks too much, show us more of the game. So it's like, let's just let the gameplay part lead the conversation through all these people, and let that speak for itself, instead of showing like another like cringy trailer that we can just meme until the end of time.
Yeah, I didn't have any
oh no,
I don't know.
You know, not you. I'm saying like that was like the bulk of the reception I was reading, and even like the developers had a good laugh over how bad the reception was on the trailer side.
I have no problem with the protagonist like talking and being like witty, or like attempting to be witty. I feel like the reason why I feel like the reason why it doesn't hit is because we're not seeing her in a natural environment. We're seeing her pulled into this like wacky fantasy crazy environment, and she just sticks out like a sore thumb amongst all of that, which is probably on purpose, but it's not hitting right. It's not you know what it's hitting like? It's hitting like Mila Jovovich in Monster Hunter. Like,
correct.
You're too not this world, and it's not working.
Like the fish out of water thing. I feel like if it was the same world with someone from within that universe, the writing could have been better. But now you're accommodating for like this fish out of water scenario where it's like, I'm fighting fucking dragons. Like, okay, like relax a little bit. Like,
you are
don't
fighting.
do all that.
You are fighting like, fucking dragons. Speaking of dragons, Andy. Speaking of dragons, I'm gonna dragon you into the Nintendo Direct. That's right, I'm dragging you in.
I thought that was a Yakuza segue for a minute.
Kind of. So, Nintendo Direct, September 2022, had some surprises, some what I would say cringeworthy moments, but real quick, let's just kind of get into what we saw at this thing. We got a little sneak-a-peek at the new golf mode that's going to be coming to Switch Sports. It's coming out this holiday. Unfortunately, I had to push it back. Mario Strikers is getting a free update this month. That was cool. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Wave 2 of DLC adds a new hero. That was cool. Splatoon 3's first Splatfest. Whatever. Resident Evil Village Cloud. You could play that on the cloud. So that's cool. We got that. Harvest. Okay. I'm gonna read from the IGN wrap up the next few. Here we go. You ready? Harvest Moon.
I'm ready.
Okay, Harvest Moon. It's getting Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life is getting a remake as Story of Seasons: Wonderful Life. Okay, Harvest Moon.
Okay.
Next on this list, Fae Farming. It's an RPG with a mix of magic and farming. Next game on the list, Harvestella, which you guessed it, is about farming and harvesting.
Somebody is trying to tell us something over there.
And there were definitely more. Oh, Rune Factory 3, similar. Had some of that in there as well. We got to see Various Day Life, which is out in a couple of days or a day. SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake is coming. That looked really cool. Tales of Symphonia Remastered. Andy, that game is dope.
Yeah,
it's not as good as Skies of Arcadia.
What are they gonna charge for this?
$60.
This is my first question.
Sifu is coming to Switch, which is awesome. It Takes Two, awesome. That's like the perfect Switch game. I wonder how it'll run. Fatal Frame. What did you think of Fatal Frame? Mask of the Lunar Eclipse coming to the West. Frame, did you play it in
Fatal Frame? That one. No. That is what I hear one of the better Fatal Frame games post Fatal Frame 2 on the PS2 era.
Okay.
And it never came to the West. Now that it's coming here in all its janky glory, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I don't know much about that. Franchise.
No, really. Camera ghost busting.
Yeah.
Camera with ghosts.
Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is going to be released on December 13th. Crisis Core is a great game. I'm excited that's coming to Switch. Here's a fucking weird one. GoldenEye 007 is coming to Nintendo 64 online or whatever they're calling it. New N64 games heading to Switch. It's also Mario Party and Pokemon Stadium are coming as well. I think it was multiple Mario Parties. Yes, it was Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. And Stadium 1 and 2. Pilot Wings is also coming. Now, GoldenEye, the Switch version, is the only one getting online multiplayer.
Yeah. This is very strange.
It's weird.
How did they finagle this from Microsoft? I don't know what rights issues lie within the game being first an N64 game, and then but Rare, a Microsoft company, and they own, but they don't own GoldenEye. They don't own 007. So I don't know how that worked out. Where maybe Nintendo owned the rights to that game on Nintendo, and they were like, okay, you can remake it for your thing, put on Game Pass, but we also want it, and we only want the online multiplayer. You can't have that.
Okay, so according to Buzz Killington, I don't
know how that all worked out.
According to Buzz Killington, and this sort of makes sense, and it was actually going to be my theory for this anyway, but I don't know why that would stop Xbox from being able to have it, because this game is also coming to Xbox. It's not necessarily an online thing. It's more like a game sharing thing where they have to like join your game as if they're sitting next to you and like press start and like pick their character. So like, it's almost like the Steam share play or something like that, where like you could join your friend's game. I don't know if I believe that, but
wait. So because of that, they can't put that in Microsoft's, the Xbox
That's
version?
why I'm like, I don't feel like that's normal, but maybe Xbox won't allow that version. And they don't want to put the work in to make it a true like online experience. Like I'm playing, you know what I mean?
That doesn't, I don't understand.
It's weird. It's definitely weird. And hopefully they will help us out with that.
I just feel like that's again, I don't want to linger on this too much, but that's like people only play that really for the online multiplayer component, I feel. Like that game is fine on its own. Like I'm sure it hasn't aged that well. Throwing 4K Codepay on it with better controls might help it a little bit. That's fine. But I think the true the
The
thrust
submarine
of,
level was hard.
yeah, people want to play with their
I remember
friends.
that. It's like the briefcase bomb or some shit like that.
And you're gonna delegate this classic game to Nintendo's shitty online infrastructure.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, listen,
That's
we'll see what they do, right? We'll see what they do.
Okay.
Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm, Final Bar Line. I never knew these games existed. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, but there's like a bajillion songs in this thing where you basically just like tap to like the rhythm and like scenes play out for you, and I mean it looks cool. Not for me, but whatever. Octopath Traveler 2 was announced. You got new heroes, and the art style is back. They did not change that, which is nice. Hopefully they improve on the narrative and kind of how all those storylines kind of intertwine and like it actually has consequence.
And this time not only on the Switch, not a Switch exclusive.
Yes, not a Switch exclusive at launch, but that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. It's coming to Steam, PS5, PS4. Bayonetta 3 had a new trailer and it confused the shit out of me.
What was so confusing about it?
They talked in the direct, they talked about Bayonetta 1, what her story was there, like she had to get her soul, or I don't know, whatever the fuck she had to do. Bayonetta 2, she had to save somebody, blah blah blah. And they're like, here's the Bayonetta 3 and what you do, all the cool things. And you're like, okay, cool. But then they released the actual trailer outside of the direct. The actual Ways of the Witch trailer, which is
maybe they like switched, they just swapped those.
Why not put the trailer in the showcase so that we could see
that's
the thing like we care about?
That's like us opening our showcase with a 3-minute audio deep dive into a game and then putting the trailer separately of the game.
I think here I have a theory. I think they're afraid of Bayonetta titties and booty. Like I don't think Nintendo wants to show that in its sexiness. In a direct. I mean, think that's what it is.
Shorty looks a little bit less sexier than I'm used to, which I'm a little bit mad about.
Well, she doesn't look less sexier. She looks less naked.
She's more
less sexualized. She's less sexualized.
She should be losing clothes at every single entry. That's how I see it. As each game goes on, she loses more and more clothing.
Says the gay man. Fire Emblem Engage announced as a new mainline game, and it's going to be starring Marth. I don't know a damn thing about Fire Emblem, so I'm sure all y'all are happy about it.
Let's call our good friend Joe from Loop Rose to go on a 5-hour.
I would love
rant
that
about why he loves Fire Emblem.
I would love that. I just never fell into the Fire Emblem train and the Valkyria Chronicles and the Xenoblade. Like I never fell into those games. I was like Final Fantasy or bust for me, like for the JRPG.
Those are greater time sucks than Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy at least like you can have a decent chunk of time and not do all the things, but this is like there's so much depth in what you can do in those games.
Yeah, good luck with your life.
It's like, okay, let me beat it the second time now. That's 100 more hours for a whole other part of story with choice and dialogue. It's like I don't get time for that shit.
Yeah,
just the one time, one way.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland
Freaking
Deluxe.
That's gonna cost $80.
Here we go, a Wii classic coming to the Switch. Honestly, it's a good game, so who cares?
Oh, it's a great game, but are they gonna Disney Vault this thing again?
Yes,
for like $80 and put it away after like 3 months.
That's correct. That is exactly what's happening.
Correct.
Let's see. There's a bunch of other stuff that we could talk about.
There's two big things.
Fist of the, I know we're getting there. The Fist of the North Star Fitness Boxing edition.
Great.
Endless Dungeon is a procedural generated roguelite set in space. Endless Dungeon. I've actually heard of that one. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, Andy.
Yes.
This next one, second to last one, is an absolute slap in the face.
Uh-huh.
I was floored with how they handled this announcement. Okay? They announced Pikmin 4. It's coming in 2023. Uh-huh. And they had their, the guy over there, I forget his name, Miyamoto.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
I just completely blanked on his name because I was thinking Kojima for some reason, and I was like, wait, who the hell is it? Miyamoto. Got it. Okay.
Oh.
So Pikmin 4.
All Asians do not look alike.
Here it is. No, it was just the name that popped in my head. Shut up.
I'm joking. It
was a weird moment where he comes on and he's talking about Pikmin. He's like, but guess what? I got nothing to show you except for this. And you're like, oh, he was lying. He's going to show us something. He shows us a still photo from a screenshot from clearly Pikmin 4. And he says, this is the scale of the game. And that was it. I was absolutely floored. This is what I think happened. Miyamoto, I don't want to show Pikmin 4. Why not, Miyamoto-san? We have to show Pikmin 4. They're asking for Pikmin 4. I don't want to show it yet. I just want it to be its own thing. Please, we have to show it. Fine, I'll give you something. And he records himself talking about the game and says, here's one picture. And they were like, well, fuck. All right, I guess that's what we're putting in because the showcase is tomorrow. I think that's what happened.
A few things. We have seen more of this game than we have of Metroid Prime 4. So how bad is it?
Oh my God, that's right. Chad just reminded me. He also said, look at my new t-shirt. And it was a Pikmin 4 t-shirt. Don't forget that.
Again, we've seen a lot more of that game.
Yes.
Than a Metroid Prime 4.
It felt like a slap in the face, Andy.
I'm looking at the IGN article and I'm kind of shocked that this is real. That the game was very close to completion in 2015.
Pikmin 4?
Yes.
All right.
So I don't know what the hell he's been doing for the last 7 to 8 years working on this game.
All right. Hot take here. I think Nintendo, as much as they are left to do their own thing, or they don't care about what people are doing, they're going to make their fun thing and whatever. I think they kind of get a little spiteful. And they're like, well, if you're going to shit on Pikmin 3 or whatever it is, or you didn't like the Pikmin Mobile, whatever. Oh no, that's what they also showed off the Pikmin Mobile game as part of this spiel, which looks just stupid. I'm sorry. I sound like a hater, but Pikmin is one of the franchises that I think that is actually really, really good from them. And I just feel like they're just disrespecting that franchise, but I digress.
No, listen, I'm all for them being more than just Mario, Smash, and Zelda. I love when they go outside of that. And we have other things that we're good at that people love, but I think there's a little bit of a complacency thing happening where Nintendo, they can rely on, again, I said it before, millions upon millions of sales of Animal Crossing. Mario Kart 8 is getting more content because people can't stop buying the fucking thing.
Right.
Or we're not going to get a part 9 ever. And we've done it to ourselves. We've bought so much into this re-release that they're like, you know what? We don't need part 9 ever.
Andy.
Just keep doing season passes.
Andy.
Keep doing waves.
Andy. You know that's not true.
Steven.
3 months. 3 months after the last content drop for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That is when Mario Kart 9 comes out and renders everything you bought for Mario Kart 8 obsolete.
But when's that going to be? In the next console cycle?
Yeah, pretty much. And the final announcement from the Nintendo... We are running late. Holy fuck. The sequel to Breath of the Wild is called The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's coming out in May of 2023. I'm not a fan of Breath of the Wild. I can appreciate what it was trying to do. This looks like it has a little bit more Zelda DNA from what I can tell. which is what I really wanted for Breath of the Wild to have a little bit more of, just some more Zelda DNA as opposed to just like wannabe open world kind of Sandlot, whatever. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they have to show for this. We're probably not going to see anything from this game at least until January, but at least we know what's happening.
Yeah, just when I thought, like, because I knew deep down that this was not going to be called Breath of the Wild 2. That is not the thing Nintendo does.
Yeah, they don't do that. Yeah.
They did it once, and that was it, I feel. With Zelda 2 years ago on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
But yes, I enjoyed this game. You hated this game. It's just how it is.
I did not I did not hate the game. I just think that it's not as amazing, incredible, groundbreaking as people think it is. Like, I saw through all that bullshit and was like, no, there's nothing here. Like, there's a couple of tool sets and an emptiness, and then these little pockets of interesting, like, very, very far
I agree
in between
with you on that.
And then it just resets to give you more challenge. It's like, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but that was that. So that was the Nintendo showcase now, or the Nintendo Direct. Now, luckily for us, the state of play was much shorter. Well, it had less content. Let's just put it that way. It was a 20-minute showcase, and we got to see some really cool games that are more up my alley, just speaking honestly. And a couple of games that I didn't know that I was interested in when they were first revealed, and now that I see more of them, I'm like totally into it. So the Neo developer is announcing an open world samurai game, Rise of the Ronin. This game looks dope. But again, it looks like a Team Ninja game, so it's not too groundbreaking, but it looks really cool. Did you die?
Between this and that other game they're working on that's coming out next year, that like Woe something.
Yeah. Wulong.
I forget. Yeah. So that's 2023 and this is 2024. So they're like pumping out games now.
Oh, listen.
They're doing some shit.
They're doing the thing. Go check that one out. That was really cool. That looked really cool. Project Eve has been renamed Stellar Blade. And that's coming next year. This is from the Korean studio Shift Up. This looked really good. Like, stupid good.
Yeah. And it is not Parasite Eve. So there's that.
And what? What'd you say?
We had that conversation a while ago. It is not Parasite Eve.
It is not a Parasite Eve, no. Synduality from Bandai Namco was also shown, and that's a shooter. Third person shooter. It's got mechs. It looked really cool. It looked like a what it felt like? It felt like shit. What was that game? The third person shooter on PS3 that got or PS4 that got shit. What was that game? Where you're kind of like a super soldier. It was a Japanese shooter. Whatever. It'll come to me. Underrated game. It was the one where you could slide down like spaceships and like you're shooting, you jump and flip and all that stuff. I forget what the hell it was called. Damn it, I'm so bad at that. But this reminded me of that, but like mechs, which is cool. I like mechs. You know me and my mechs. Big fan.
I'm just trying to think of the game you're talking about. That one's like in my brain. I can't get over it.
Man. It might have... Was it PS3? Third person shooter? Maybe it was PS3. Hold on. Vanquish. Yes, it was PS3. Vanquish. It reminded me of Vanquish.
Yes. I knew that was what you were talking about. Yep.
Yeah. Wow, I'm so good at remembering things. It came so naturally, came right away. But yeah, I know you're not into these kinds of games, but I am, so fuck you. PlayStation Stars loyalty program is going to be rolling out this month. I don't care. Moving on.
Why is that in a 20-minute show?
I mean, they only spent like 90 seconds on it, so it's not.
That could have been a trailer for a game.
Yeah. Well, we did get a new reveal though. Ironwood Studios. They revealed their game.
Yeah, brand new developer.
Yep.
Ish. And in their first debut get title.
Yep. Pacific Drive.
By our good friends at Yes.
Yes. Go ahead. Our good friends at?
I was gonna say Pop Agenda. They're publishing that game. Just so you know.
Well, they don't do publishing. They do PR.
Well, they're doing the marketing promotion.
Yeah. Ironwood Studios. So this game here, Pacific Drive, you are in a car this reminded me of the car version of Death Stranding. That's the vibes I got from this. Get the hell away from the thing trying to kill you, the big scary weather monster, and drive quickly. That instead of walking slowly and losing all your loot, you're driving quickly and losing all your loot. That's what I thought this game was. But it looked gorgeous. But yeah. PlayStation spending money, Andy. Big money. They're spending big money.
It was all right.
They're getting exclusive quest for Hogwarts Legacy. Exclusive content. You know what would have been great if this game, if they Avengered this game, and they were like, Harry Potter is exclusive to PlayStation, and everybody else will get Hermione and whatever the hell his name is, Ron Weasley, but Harry is exclusive to PlayStation. Suck on that, Xbox. Goodness gracious. I do not care.
I want to see someone try to do that at some point.
That would be phenomenal. I do not care at all about Hogwarts Legacy. I was not into Harry Potter. If the game has enough there for people who know nothing about Harry Potter, if there's enough on the bone, I would be interested. So I need to see more of that to really decide whether or not it's going to be for me. You have no thoughts?
Yeah. My thoughts are I had a lot of friends who were just way too into Harry Potter that it totally just turned me off to it.
See, I didn't really have that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had all the girls, every time a movie would come out, they'd make us all go out together as teenagers. And that was fine.
That was fine. I did that route too. But when the books were coming out, it was you have to read these. I'm going to quiz you on it.
But everyone knows you can't read, Andy. Everybody knows that.
I can really speak, let alone read, Steven.
That's why I look at the articles for us.
Yeah, of course.
Yakuza Ishin, the spin-off game from the Yakuza series that's in Japan. It's coming.
Mm-hmm. Don't you mean like a dragon Ishin?
Well, that's what it's. Yeah, that's what it's going to be called.
That's what it's called now.
Yeah, like a dragon Ishin. It's coming to PS4 and PS5 in February. That looked cool. People were very happy about that. Demio announced for PSVR 2. So if your VR 2 stands out there, it's coming. Also, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge got a new gameplay trailer. That looks really cool. I love to be in Star Wars. Tekken 8 has been revealed, and they look brolic. So I missed this part of the showcase. I caught it right after the Tekken thing. Are you excited? Are you a big Tekken guy?
Dude, I was huge on Tekken 3.
Tekken 3. See, I played Tekken Tag Tournament. That was the last Tekken I played.
Game. But I feel like as I've gotten older, I was always in the Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat sort of camps growing up, and Tekken was distant third. I would play the game. It wasn't I didn't have the fanfare, but when I saw this, I was like, this looks really, really good. This is CGI movie level equivalent graphics happening, and it's in engine, and they're duking it out, and it looks.
I'm watching it now. Yeah,
it's only on next gen or current gen.
Well, that makes sense.
I feel there's still too much last gen stuff. I'm gonna always refer to current gen as next gen until we officially
until it's gone
remove
forever. Yeah.
PS4 and Xbox One crap from the release production development cycle. So for next gen, looks amazing.
The thing I always liked about Tekken is how stilted yet fluid all of the fighting feels and looks. Like everything looks powerful, like it has weight. It's like boom, boom, boom. I don't know. I always like that, except as opposed to the overly stilted for Mortal Kombat and the overly fluid in Street Fighter. Like it's kind of like in the middle. And I always appreciated that. I remember when my neighbor got a PlayStation and Tekken. That was the game he had, and that was my first time seeing a PlayStation. So Tekken was my first ever PlayStation experience. And finally, we got a sick trailer for God of War Ragnarok, which, believe it or not, still coming this year, and that's it. Suck on that. And we also got a limited edition DualSense controller that looks pretty ugly. Not excited about that controller.
I really thought that it was going to end on the controller announcement.
I would have laughed. I would have absolutely laughed.
I think I don't want to dwell for a while. I could go on for a while, but why?
Please don't.
Cannot wait to play this game.
Yeah.
But the reason why Sony does what they do so well is in this trailer. First of all, it looks phenomenal. The direction, the graphics, the character models, all of it looks fantastic. But there's a moment in the trailer, if you catch it, Kratos says this one-liner. He says, "Death can have me when it earns me."
Yeah.
That is writing. That is really, really well written dialogue.
And delivered.
And just hearing him say is
awesome.
Right. That encompasses what they do so well. And that's why they have like the blockbuster first party games with the Spider-Mans and the this and
I think he's gonna die.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
I think
he's died before.
But I think this is like it. But we'll see.
Right, but money will bring him back.
Yeah. Yeah. Andy, this next one is the the ID at Xbox Fall Showcase. I gotta be honest, I missed this entire thing, and I have not much to say about it.
This week,
basically,
each major publisher did like a thing in the same week, almost on the same day.
I will watch more of this, but obviously ID at Xbox. I'll watch it for Indies Nuts tomorrow, so I'll have because it's a lot of it's indies.
Yeah. A lot of it is mainly indie focused.
Right.
It is. I think essentially it's all indies focused, to be honest.
Here's everything that was announced for Xbox Game Pass, PC Games Pass, or Xbox Cloud Gaming. Amazing Cultivation Simulator, You Suck at Parking, Metal Hellsinger, Moonscars, Valheim for PC, Evil, The Big Con, The Walking Dead, The Telltale series, the final season, Rainbow Billy, The Curse of the Leviathan. Ooh, cool. I kickstarted that. Maybe I'll get a copy of that. Now that it's coming to Game Pass, I didn't have to. Valheim coming to Xbox
you paid for
XS and One, and Cloud Gaming. Born of Bread, Homestead Arcana, Turnip Boy robs a bank. I love that. Homestead Arcana. I bet you can figure out what that game's about. I don't even know. I'm gonna click the trailer and I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. It's cinematic. Okay, we're walking. I saw a farm. I see plants. I see trees. I'm guessing it's some sort of farming or resource gathering. Song of Iron 2. There's a lot here. I need to
talk about that for a hot second.
Yeah.
Song of Iron, friend of the show.
Yes.
Yeah, but friend of the show, Song of Iron.
Yes.
We had covered that game when it was just a Reddit post.
Yeah.
And like not close to being done yet. And it wasn't that long ago, I feel. And now he's already doing the sequel. And it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. Insane.
God damn, there's a lot of stuff going on today. There was that Disney gaming shit too that we missed. The Marvel and Disney game. There's so much shit, man. We don't have enough time.
Oh yeah, the Captain America and Black Panther game.
Yeah. There's not enough time to go over everything, but I promise you, we will watch everything. I was at work when almost all of this shit was happening, so the only thing I got to see was Nintendo and PlayStation. I didn't get to watch anything else. However, we do have some questions. Questions of the week. Okay, first of all, the topic of the show, which one of those three was the winner for you? But we can't really say because I didn't watch the Xbox one. So we're going to skip that. We're going to talk about that next week when we watch everything and have an informed opinion. Okay? Corey, via our Discord, host of this show, Corey, what are your top 3 games from the Nintendo Direct and the PlayStation Showcase? For PlayStation, it is for me, it's Project Eve, it's Rise of the Ronin, and it's God of War. Those are my 3 for PlayStation. What about you?
Let's see. Definitely God of War.
Yep, of course.
It was up there. Stellar Blade. So we're kind of like 2 out of 3. And for the last one, I don't think, no, I do have it. It's Yakuza Ishin. That looked really dope.
Yeah. Does look dope, doesn't it? Damn, it looks dope. Okay. The Nintendo Direct one. I'm gonna go. I'm not even giving Pikmin 4 my. If they showed anything, I would be excited for it. I am gonna go with 3. Huh? Fuck it. I'm going Fae Farm because that looks really cute. It's an RPG, magic and farming. Harvestella, because again, farming, and it's from Square Enix. It's got a demo coming. And if I had to pick a third,
yeah, you do.
I would say Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom, because I really want them to take Breath of the Wild and make it a Zelda game. What about you?
In no ranking order, I would say the Fatal Frame port
okay.
of the 4th game in the series that was only in Japan, finally coming to the West. Octopath Traveler 2.
Octopath.
I love the first one, but please address the story issues. Make it like a cohesive, unified story.
Just make it matter. Make it matter.
For the love of God. And my third choice, an odd choice, which we didn't mention this in the actual overall rundown. Radiant Silvergun is one of my all-time favorite shooty ups games.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great game.
This is from Tracy via Facebook. When you pick up your Switch, which farming game will you be farming your farm at?
Let's see. I'm gonna have to say Stardew because Stardew is on my Switch.
Oh, I see. So you're not gonna buy one of these new ones.
No.
Interesting.
Not at the moment.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going with the Fae Farm. That's what I'll be farming. And our final question comes from Mike via Discord, which you could join by going to patreon.com/dualscreens. Sony's most recent state of play gave us glimpses into several third-party games coming to the console. While there were some exciting things in there, it hardly felt like a showcase in the same vein as what Microsoft, Keighley, or even Nintendo have done recently. Is Sony done with showcases? Does the first party really have nothing to show? As a fan, I can't help but feel like we're just waiting for this huge blowout of news after several years of silence from a lot of the first-party teams. Instead, it feels like Sony opts to simply let out a little steam from its boiling pot of a new game new game announcements. Is this a good strategy, or will it be more beneficial for Sony to return to the traditional showcase? I think they are done with the showcase style thing. It's just too much to produce. There's not really a return on investment for them with that too, because they get in the zeitgeist for like a week and then it'll die down. So I don't know about you, but I think spreading it out has been more beneficial for them, keeping themselves at the top of the food chain, as it were.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I don't think they're done with this showcase format. I think, their last showcase, their first party geared centric showcase was around this time last year. It's a bit deflating seeing a state of play come out around the same time, because it kind of makes you think, well, is this going to be it? Because the month's almost halfway over. We got Tokyo Game Show happening this weekend. Is that going to come to pass first, and then you want to do some stuff after the fact? I'm not sure. But I want to say thank God that they actually released some games this year, because if it wasn't for that, it would have been a pretty lackluster year for Sony. They had some announcements, some acquisitions with Bungie and Haven and other stuff throughout the year. That mobile company was a huge get for them.
Big.
But I want to see more of what's coming down the pipeline. God of War is fine. We know it's coming for a while, that it's been coming. But I feel like as we're rounding out 2022, I want to see what's on the agenda for 2023. Even if it's like, I know Spider-Man 2 is part of it. Great.
Yeah.
Can I see that in game?
Yeah.
Playable gameplay. What's Naughty Dog doing? What's Factions 2 looking like?
Andy,
what's Blue Point up to?
Andy, if you made a game like Spider-Man and Miles Morales, if you made those two games, would you be in any rush? Would you think that people would need to see Spider-Man 2 at any point before God of War releases? Like, nobody needs to know what you need to know the villains? Why? Like, what do you need to see? What do they need to prove for Spider-Man 2? Like, we know they're making it. Okay, cool. Like, it's gonna come out. Like,
right. No,
I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get that idea, but the PS5 was held up in its launch, months and year, primarily by Insomniac with Spider-Man Miles and Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man Remastered. Now they're doing Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. So they have a lot from that one team. So
yeah.
Show me other things then. You have like
things that are new.
18 studios.
Yeah. Things that are new that we don't know about.
Got to be Spider-Man 2.
Right. Like, but I think that's the problem, is that their 2023 lineup, we kind of already know, and we don't need to see that until God of War. And I think the reason for that,
Steve,
what?
I have no idea what's happening next year besides Spider-Man 2. What else are they
Andy,
doing
I
year?
think that's it, dude. I think Final Fantasy 16, they're going to hang their hat on that.
You can't even count that.
But what I'm saying is that because it's not theirs developed, but it's theirs for PS5. Like, it's theirs. Like, they're treating it as one of their tent poles for 2023. You know it because of how much fanfare they've given it. It's definitely one of their tent poles. And I think that they're more geared for 2024 and beyond. And I think they learned a really valuable lesson with The Last of Us Part 2, Days Gone, Horizon, and all of these games coming out relatively close and kind of sabotaging each other with their coverage. And I think it was especially when they delayed Last of Us Part 2, and it sort of ate Days Gone's lunch. It was like, well, I'm not going to get Days Gone now because I mean we have The Last of Us Part 2 coming. Like it's like right here. And I think I think they learned a lesson. They're like, we're going to let our games breathe. God of War will sell. We have no reason to show people what's coming in May next year because in November we have fucking God of War. And then when we could ride the hype train for Spider-Man 2, then we could say, hey, remember Wolverine or whatever the fuck? That's going to be our November game. We'll show you more of that throughout the summer as you guys are playing Spider. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think that they are worried about quantity. I think they're worried about building a quality, not game, because they're going to do that regardless. I think they're worried about building a quality marketing buildup for each one of their IP so that they don't have another Horizon, Last of Us 2, Days Gone, even God of War, but God of War's God of War. It's never going to struggle. But like Horizon 2, like, fuck, everything always happens to Horizon, right? Like, it's just, I just think that they're at a point where they're like, fuck it. We're going to let things breathe. We're going to show you.
Maybe the VR game will, the VR game won't be gobbled up by another big title.
Yeah, but Wolverine is definitely a 2024 game. They already said that it's going to be I think they said Q2 2024 maybe. But like again, like you said, Naughty Dog. Yeah, like what are they going to do? But honestly, they're probably not doing anything. They're not releasing anything until 2024 anyway. So they could show us that late 2023 or like late summer, like this time 2023. Gear us up for a year from then. That's just their MO now. Like you could say they have 18 studios, but like how many of those fucking studios are making VR games? Like 5, 6 of them, at least.
I wouldn't say 5. We talk 5 or 6.
They are investing.
It's exaggeration.
It's not. They're investing a lot of money in VR, and a lot of resources in VR.
You can name me 5 studios working on VR games that are first party. I would say maybe 2.
I'll look it up right now.
Maybe
I'll find it for you
that I know. Fire Sprite's doing the Horizon game, and that Blood and Truth folks are doing other stuff.
Let's see.
I don't think
they don't show me the developers of these things, but they do have a lot here. My God.
But listen. I think I'm just an old dinosaur. I feel like I like the pop. I like the fanfare. I like the celebration of like here's what our guys are working on. They're like big budget productions. Because I don't care much a lot about like a lot of AAA games outside of the big publishing labels like the Sony, the Microsoft, the Nintendo. Yes, Sega's good, Capcom's great, Square also amazing. But like the bulk of them I kind of like dismiss. Because I think I'll get there eventually. Like I love my indies more lately than usual, I want to say. So my PS5 or Xbox, I need to have the big things to kind of like justify this piece of plastic that's sitting next to me in my office right now. I just miss like that.
Yeah.
And your fans want things to talk about too.
Yeah.
To get excited about.
And I that's fair. But I don't think they're concerned with fanning fanboy wars anymore. Like we don't care.
No. Listen. I think what you're saying there is, I get it, because I don't want to be in a spot where like you announce a Perfect Dark like 4 years ago, and then it's like, well, it's going through all these problems and
or Metroid Prime 4
team and or that. It's like, what do? Do you announce it prematurely? And it's like, well, they still got this coming. Starfield, like I get it, like yeah, there's things announced that you can look forward to, but then like when do you announce, like how ready is it to show? So I kind of get it, but I still miss like the big production, the nice hour long deep dive of like here's the things that we are investing in and that we're making and that you can only get on PlayStation kind of mentality.
Right.
I miss that.
Just to give you a heads up, so I'm on PlayStation's website, and I have all their first party studios. Just to go down them, we have Asobi, Team Asobi. That was I believe, Sony Japan Studios that was renamed.
Yeah.
So they did Astro's Playroom, and we know that they're working on. What the hell was it?
They're doing another like 3D.
Yeah, but I forget what it was.
Platformer game.
Yeah. Okay, so we have that. Ben Studio. We don't know what's happening there. That's one.
Ben's doing a new IP.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's all we know. Right. Blue Point. They just came out with something, so they're probably 2 years away.
Blue Point is doing new content.
Right, and we're probably 2 years away at least from that.
We're doing new content.
Right.
Yeah.
Fire Sprite is VR. Gorilla.
One of their multiple projects that they're working on.
Yeah, but they're not.
Things going on.
They're usually not, blockbuster type shit.
Dude, but Fire Sprite is a huge studio.
They're big. Yes, they're big.
4 people in studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sprite Story. Yeah, they do a lot on their website. I was just looking at like their updates. Gorilla, we know what they're doing. Or at least they just released something massive. Housemark, we know they
had a game this year. That's
right.
fine.
Yeah. Housemark, they're got to be 3 years away from anything if it's going to be the same quality as Returnal. Right. Insomniac, we know what they're working on. London Studios. London Studios is an enigma to me.
They did Blood and Truth. Didn't they do Blood and Truth? Wasn't that their game?
They did.
Am I wrong?
Hold on. Yes, they did Blood and Truth. Yes. PSVR. Okay. So they've been focusing on VR. Media Molecule. Dreams. Naughty Dog. We don't know. They just had The Last of Us 2 and the remake of Last of Us. So technically they came out with something, but they didn't do that all themselves. Nix's is a support studio that was helping with Spider-Man. Pixel Opus is Concrete Genie. So we don't know what they're doing, but it's probably not going to be mega.
They're doing a game based on a Sony animated film, I think.
They do not have a website that I could visit.
Animated feature. They don't.
Polyphony Digital, Gran Turismo. San Diego, MLB The Show. Santa Monica, God of War. Sucker Punch.
Ghost 2.
Yeah, like they just came out with Ghost like last year, so they got to be 3 years away, maybe 2 if they were working on 2 projects. Valkyrie Entertainment, they're another support studio, and XDev, another support studio. So that's it. We know 75% of these studios are doing.
See, XDev is like they seek out. They do the stuff like Returnal, like, oh, hey, fun studio, we'll give you some money,
and we'll help you
and
optimize
make a game for us.
Yeah,
second party situation. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, of all those studios, we know what is coming out from all of them except for not Insomniac, Sucker Punch. We don't know if they're making something cool, and if you want to be a dick about it, Naughty Dog, but they did release 2 blockbusters after another, so I don't know.
But again, the only thing we know is Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine are the only like concrete things that we know of.
Well, because everything else came out within the last 18 months. Like, what are these studios going to do? Media Molecule is not doing anything new. They're working on Dreams Forever. I imagine a Dreams PS5 port.
I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about them or Polyphony doing like GT7 8 at some point.
And we know, and like the other God of War is like just put it this way: they have 5 AAA God of War, Horizon, Naughty Dog, like those level. They have 5.
Yeah, but
4 of them came out with games in the last 18 months.
Right, but all those teams are doing more than one thing, though.
I understand that, but it's
like,
been
Gorilla's multiplayer
games don't take
Cory Balrog's
2 years.
Right,
games
I understand that.
but
like
they're not going to show you
Santa
something
Monica
coming out in
Corn Dog
2025. What's the point?
I understand. I understand. But he's been working on something since God of War 2018. That's not God of War Ragnarok. Like he's been doing.
Yes.
With a team within Santa Monica Studio.
But I don't think it's fair to I don't think it's fair to say that we didn't see something from them when like God of War 2 is like the thing that they're focusing. Like that's the thing.
Oh, I know that.
Once God of War 2 is out, then they
could
start the marketing train for their next thing. They don't have to tell us what they're like they're doing God of War 2. Leave them alone. And Buzz in the chat says,
has to tell you shit. Dude, we're saying show me something.
Did you leave out Bungie? Or you did leave out Bungie. Bungie is still not it's not official yet. Like they're still independent. Like that's the whole thing. They're like still in.
No, the Bungie deal closed.
But they're still independent.
Part of the Sony family,
right? They're not.
But
they're not a
they're
not a Sony first party studio.
It'll be through. Right, but when they announce things, it'll be through that umbrella. Like it'll be
put it this way,
like the next Bungie IP.
Put it this way, I did not forget Bungie. They were not on PlayStation's list of first party studios from PlayStation.com. So if they are not on their own first party list, I'm not counting them as a first party studio. I think that's fair.
You didn't mention Haven.
They were not. They were not on the list. I went over every studio that's on their list.
Those that makes sense because those two deals wrapped up this year. So I mean, it's like it's
probably waiting for
closed.
It's probably waiting for like full transitions and all that stuff, which is fine. Like once they get added, that's great. That'll be awesome.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, good
Haven,
discussion.
Good question. They're doing a game.
Yeah,
they're doing a game. Let's see their game
when it's ready to be shown.
Oh, what's his deviation game? What's his Firewalk Studios game? The second party things you've heard about like years ago.
Second party is a different story. Yeah, like second party, it's like
no, it's still.
I feel like
it's their money.
Yeah,
it's their investment. It's just as good as a first party game. It's like they put all the fun. It's their Death Stranding.
Yeah,
in a sense, so they get the full market. It's their IPs.
Right. And Death Stranding was a game we saw too quick, too early. Also, if you remember that marketing fucking blitz, it's 3 years of shit.
To be honest,
Norman Reedus's butt.
But that game came out in that game came out in 4 years though.
Under 4 years,
or less than 4 years.
It was under 4 years. Yeah, it was a 3 year, 3 years from announcement to essentially 3 years from announcement to coming out. But he was working on it obviously as a concept and like all that shit beforehand. But
yeah, Pikmin 4, dude, 2015.
Don't talk to me about Pikmin 4. But you know what you can talk to me about? The end of the show. This was a good show.
It's over.
I enjoyed it.
Good show.
It's great. Really
Thanks,
good show.
Mike. Great question.
Good question, Mike.
Good
question. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening and watching. It was a great time. We will dive deeper in, you know what? Buzz Killington in the chat, who's been just running away with the chat, wants us to do this for Microsoft Studios. I'll tell you what, Buzz, write in for next week's show. Write in for next week's show. A nice thought-provoking question. You can. You can.
It's possible.
You have a you literally have a chat with me and Andy.
You have
us.
You have a direct line.
You have my personal phone number. You can.
Steven has called you during the show several times.
I have. Hashtag free Buzz Killington. Everybody tweet at It's Perjure. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. This was an absolute blast to do. I'm happy to be back on Crossplay for a little bit. Taylor is taking a leave of absence to get just personal shit in order. Nothing crazy, nothing bad. Just has a lot of stress going on right now, and he just needs less to worry about. And I am more than happy to be able to give him less to worry about. So thank you so much, guys, for watching and listening. Thank you, Andy, for being here. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, listeners. I've thanked you so many times, and I'm going to continue to thank you. And we love you. And as always, please be excellent to each other.